Hey, Ryan.
I spilled beer all over my keyboard. Good way to start the night.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, coming to you last week of the regular season with a little bit of just kind of a smaller episode today, just on the UNC, and then later on this week we will come to you with the Griz special. I'm joined by always my co-host Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm not too bad. Feeling a little bleh after that game. How about you? How you doing?
I would echo those feelings that you just put out there. There's not much to talk about with the UNC game, but before we talk about anything, let's talk about what's on tap tonight.
Well, I was going back and reading through the thread, and I had seen Cletus and Rick Rund had recommended the Young's Double Chocolate, and I happened to be at the local grocery store. I didn't know what it looked like. I Googled it and looked up, and it was right in front of my face. So that's got to be fate. So I have the Young's Double Chocolate Stout, and it's delicious. Good call, guys. Thank you for the recommendation.
That does sound delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had that on Nitro.
I had to pause to take a swig. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty smooth. Not real chocolatey as some of the other ones are, but you definitely get the aftertaste in there. But yeah, it's good.
Nice.
I love stouts.
Stout season right now, man.
That's right. Stout season, stout football time. What are you drinking?
The Send It Pale Ale from Ellensburg, Washington, Iron Horse Brewery. The same guys that make Irish Death.
The Irish Death is one of my favorite Washington beers.
Never had it.
It's delicious.
So, tonight, a little story behind my beer selection. It was, I don't even remember the year. It was maybe early teens of the 2000s. Anyways, I went over to Helena to stay the night. We were going to Bozeman. Oh, what was the year we came in? We were number one.
Oh, man.
Do you remember that? It was 2000, I think,
That was 2014
maybe?
No, I think it was 2011, wasn't it? That was the year that we were number one. That was the year the Griz vacated their season or whatever, and they just curb stomped us, Jordan Johnson.
Gosh, I hate Jordan Johnson. That kid was just so good against us.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm getting off tangent. So I stayed in Helena that night. My wife and I stayed in Helena with our friend's family, and we went out to the Lewis and Clark Brewery and had a fine time. But and then we went to the game the next day. It was so cold. I remember that. But in my fridge, I have Lewis and Clark's Tumbleweed IPA, and I went about to go grab it today, and I was like, you know what? I can't drink this just on purpose that I drank it right before the Griz the last time, and we lost. And so my superstitions got the better of me, and I made a trip out to a local grocery store and just bought this as a one-off, just a can. And the name Send It. It was just fitting for the week, I suppose. So
I know.
That's how I got this beer tonight.
I'm trying to choose. I was like, do I save this for the Griz special, or it's no, I'm going to try and drink a Montana beer. It's a limited selection out here, but I'm going to try and find a Montana beer to drink for the Griz show. So that's why I'm drinking this one right now.
Well, in about 10 minutes ago, we just decided on to make it official 2 shows. Now I have to go get another beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later on this week.
We're professionals. We plan this out. We're want to do 2 shows this week? Yeah, I guess. There, boom, 2 shows.
So here's the boring one on Northern Colorado.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Here you
go. Well, I mean, I don't know how to describe this game. It's kind of like if you're at a restaurant and one guy's like, you want this appetizer? And you don't want it. And everyone just says, yeah. And then you end up having to eat the appetizer just to get to the main dish. I feel kind of like this was just a game that had to happen. It's I'm glad we won, and I don't know how I really feel about it. It wasn't dominating. I mean, it was in a lot of ways, but Northern Colorado really shot themselves in the foot a lot. So let's take a quick look at the stats here. 17 first downs apiece, pretty even there. We had 329 total yards. They had 302, pretty even there. The biggest difference, though, is they ran 71 plays to our 58, which is pretty common. I haven't really looked at the stats. I imagine we get outplayed by, in number of plays pretty consistently just because we can't sustain drives and we score 70-yard touchdown runs. So they only averaged 4.3 yards a play, where we averaged 5.7. They did have the 4 turnovers, which were the biggest difference in the game because Northern Colorado had been moving the ball on us fairly well. And I think if they had a healthier quarterback who had having hand issues and were misfiring all over the place and fumbling the ball, could be quite a different story here. But continuing on, time of possession pretty even. We were only 5 of 12 on third downs. Just continued to struggle a little bit there. Really, just a win's a win, I guess. I don't know what else to say about the stats. Nothing really jumps out. Some nice individual performances, I guess. It was good to see kind of the reemergence of Logan Jones, getting him healthy, getting him back on track.
Yeah, I think Logan Jones is going to be a key cog in next week's game. His emergence in the last 2 weeks as, a healthy running back is really timely.
It is, yeah. He caught some balls out of the backfield. He had some nice moves, a nice little stiff arm. It was good to see him because he can do some stuff that Afonso can't, and even, not really even Troy can do. Troy kind of just, he'll go straight to the sideline, whereas, Logan Jones can kind of extend it while kind of moving upfield a little bit. I don't know how to describe that, if I described that well or not. But it's something he can do that really no one else can do on our offense since Willie Patterson went down with an injury however many weeks ago. So it's good to see us run some stretch plays and get some, east-west attacks going instead of just zones and up the middle power.
I liked I think it was, I can't remember when Choate said it, but he said about Logan Jones, I hate that guy, but I love him, or something like that. It was that's a really odd thing to say,
Yeah, I'm not sure I follow that. I don't remember hearing that. So
Thorny, you had mentioned you're coming across as, it sounds like you think we were lucky in this game to have come out on top. Whereas, I see 2 different sides of this ball game. One where you can focus in on the shortcomings of UNC, and then the flip side of the coin, you can focus in on the strengths MSU displayed. And so, to me, it sounds like you were more down on this game.
I've kind of gone back and forth on it. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just whelmed. It's just I don't know. It's hard to describe. I was just not enthusiastic after that victory. It's I was kind of rewatching a little bit here today. I was at the gym and I had forgotten Northern Colorado had the ball at the end of the third quarter. They were down 21-7 at the point. They drove right down the field pretty easily, and the drive ended or switched over in the third to the fourth, and that's when they were inside the red zone, and their quarterback, who had the hand that was bothering him all game, he got hit on a 2nd and 6 run, and he got within a yard of the first down, but he fumbled it, and we got the ball back, and that's it's and then we end up driving all the way. We took that and turned it into 7 more points and iced the game. It's just that was a very crucial play, and it's a great play, but it's just, I don't know. This game, I feel like we're just the better athletes. We just had better talent, and not because we were a better team, just because we were just physically more impressive pretty much across the board.
Well, I saw it a little bit differently. I just feel like we more or less dominated UNC. Granted, they did have, I felt 2 drives that, 7 plays, 70-ish yards on those drives. And that was one of those was the one you were alluding to. And then the very first drive of the game where they put up their only 7 points. But other than that, hand or not, we had good pressure up front. We got to the quarterback on a regular basis, and I think we, like you said, just have better athletes, and I feel like we dominated that game. We had a 35-7 win. That's a pretty dominant game.
It is. I feel like it could have been more dominant. I just feel like Northern Colorado moved the ball between the 20s a lot better than I was hoping they would. They just shot themselves in the foot. I mean, you got to give credit to our guys too. Like we've really been creating turnovers the last few games. We really, what did Choate say? Like once you kind of get one or two, then it kind of starts to snowball, and it just keeps happening. That's kind of what we keep rolling on that right now. So that's really good to see. I want to see the defense dig its heels in and make a third down stop, as opposed to getting beat, and like, oh, thank God we made an interception. that's kind of how I feel about it right now. So, but overall,
yeah,
like,
I could see that. Like we had quite a few, or UNC had quite a few third and shorts, and man, third and short seems to be a high percentage play against us. I mean, it normally is, third and 2, third and 3, but
it is. But how many
be able to stuff those once in a while?
Yeah, like how many times have we got like a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and we just swarm the line, hit the guy in the backfield, drop him, and get off the field? Like it just doesn't seem like something we do on a consistent basis, or even a inconsistent basis. Like it doesn't happen that often, and that's where I'm just disappointed, because I thought our defensive line was going to just be a little more dominant in this game than they were. But overall, though, like you said, we dominated. It's a dominating win. It's great momentum to carry into next week. I don't know. It's hard for me to just describe. It's just kind of a blah feeling after this one. But 35-7 is much better than 21-17 or even a loss. So I can't complain.
Well, normally when we play UNC, it's kind of a blah game because, I mean, there's just really no real good connection to UNC that we have. It's not like we're rivals. Normally UNC is kind of a lower to mid-level team, and so it's just seems like a game. It's just like you can't really get up a bit too high. And like last week, you had mentioned like, well, it could be a trap game for us. I didn't believe that. Fortunately, that did not play out. Although after the first drive, I was like, here we go again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe we kind of jinxed it because we had been talking on and off about opponents scoring on the first drive against us, and they stopped doing it. And I think you brought it up on the last episode, and boom, here we go. But that was our only points of the game. How great was that to see? We scored 35 unanswered points throughout the rest of the game.
I was a little disappointed in the fact that we didn't punch it in a couple more times when we were when in the first half, when we were creating those short fields. They stopped us right on the goal line at one point, and it seemed like it was like rinse repeat for a couple of those. We just had these like really short fields, as Dan Davies was called. He was using an interesting term. We have a short porch to work with. I've never heard anybody say that. I was like, interesting, Dan. Maybe you just picked up on that this week and you just wanted to try it out. Not bad.
That sounds good. I'm going to go with that. See how it goes.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I was surprised that we couldn't get the push we needed. At one point, it was like 4th and 1, and we run. I feel like we run to the side like a sweep or something, or Troy tries to get to the outside, and we're like on the goal line, and it wasn't like a long one or anything. We should just run right up the middle at that point. We should put Troy under center and just put big old Tucker Yates back there and just do the Reggie Bush play where he's just pushing them into the end zone. I don't understand why we're not doing that at that exact moment. Why are we trying to stretch it out over the side? Matt Miller seems to dial up at least one head scratcher for me every game where I'm just like, I just don't get that play. So.
I'd forgot they did have a goal line stand against us, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
Because we were talking before we started the podcast. My last week I had made my over and under that they have a 90-yard touchdown drive, which we both went over on. We both thought they would get one, and they had plenty of opportunities, and that being one of them. But glad to see that the defense did clamp down. But yeah, it's disappointing that we can't punch it in with the offense we have. It's like, if that's not what we're built for, then what are we built for? Aren't we like the exact offense who's designed to get 1 yard when we need 1 yard?
You would think.
So I don't know. I think we're gonna have a tough task next week if we can't control the line of scrimmage a little bit better than we did, because their running backs had some lanes, and their running backs aren't that fast or shifty necessarily. They just had some holes, and they ran hard. They were tough runners, but they had some holes, and they got into the secondary a few times.
Yeah, but Thorny, like, go back to your point. Like, it's a UNC game. Like, I hate to admit it, but like your level of hype, your level of effort, it's hard to stay that focused. Maybe this was the game where we're like maybe like 80% there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe you didn't really think it was. I still kind of think it was a trap game, and that would be part of the reason. It's like, I mean, it's not that you even overlook Northern Colorado. It's just that you don't get excited to play Northern Colorado. They're not a perennial power. They're rarely in the discussion for conference championship. If have they ever even been past like week 5 since they joined the Big Sky? They've been one of the worst Big Sky programs since they joined, and it's just hard to get up for them. But it's a home game. You're looking over for Cat Griz. The weather was pretty cold and frigid. It's an easy game just to go through the motions on. But I really liked what we saw out of some of the guys. So the players of the week, like we said, we're talking as Mitch Brott was the special teams player of the week. I guess he blocked a field goal. Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? Yeah, I remember that happening. Somebody just barely got a hand on it. And I guess Travis Johnson was the offensive player of the week, and defensively we had Jalen Cole, who filled in for Tyrell Thomas, and he was all over the place. He played a good game. That was one of the best performances I've seen out of Cole in a while. So it was good to see him because he's such a competitive guy. It's good to see him get back on track a little bit too, because we're going to need him next week big time.
Hopefully Thomas could come back.
Yeah, dude, I haven't heard really the extent of his injury. Have you?
Nope, I don't think we will either. Everything's so hush-hush when it comes to the Cat Griz week. It's all conjecture.
It's true.
I mean, nobody knows anything when it comes to this week. So, but Choate did say that this was Cole's best game as a college football player. So, stoked for that kid. I was really hyped on him when we signed him 2 years ago.
Yeah, me too. He was considered one of the best recruits in all of FCS when we signed him. So, and he certainly has played pretty darn well for his stature.
Thorny, I gotta admit, this is probably the best beer I have picked for the Cat Cast. I'm really enjoying this guy.
Nice. It's making the discussion of the UNC game go a little better.
It's the best part so far.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like we come off a loss. We've done this a couple times after a loss, and it's kind of hard to get up for that. But I don't know. I'm just not excited right now. Just a weird feeling. Just blasé.
The listeners don't know this, but you know this, that like I was moving this weekend to a new house here in Spokane, and I was able to listen to maybe 2/3 of the game. So this was by far the least amount of Bobcat football I consumed on a Saturday this season. So I felt, in just general, just kind of disconnected because my thoughts and efforts have been put into, getting everything organized with the move and whatnot.
How dare you have a life outside of this podcast?
I did tell the girl at the checkout stand tonight about our podcast. She's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I go, "Well, actually, I'm recording a podcast." And then I went on about Montana State football, which she seemed to pretend to be interested.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have to just ward her off a bit? She's like, "Wow, podcaster."
It's like, "Hey, we got a Twitter account. You want to know what
line.
that is?" She's like, "No, don't worry about it. I don't really do Twitter." It's like, nice. Okay, well, see you later. Big gulps, huh?
Big gulp. You just open your beer right there and start drinking it.
Yep, pretty much. So, anyways.
Well, I don't know if I have much else to say about this game. How about you? Do you got anything else you want to add?
I thought I did at one point, but I wrote down some stuff. Let's go over our bold predictions that we went over last week. That's what I wanted to get to.
I was wrong. I said we're going to throw for 100 yards. My bold predictions are always good things happen in the passing game, and good things don't ever happen in the passing game.
Apparently, Troy Anderson threw a touchdown. I did not see that, though. Did you?
No. I mean, I watched the game, but
it was the Logan Jones 18-yard.
Was it the little flip pass thing?
We'll see. Must have been. I didn't see it, but I read about it or listened to it, and so I just remember hearing Logan Jones being able to get 18 yards. It was probably like a 2-yard pass, and Logan Jones just did the rest on himself. So makes TA look a little bit better.
Yeah. For some reason, I can't recall this play. I mean, I watch the game, and I usually have two toddlers doing toddler things, so I don't get to see every play.
We got a whopping 46 yards on passing. Good job, MSU.
Yeah, that's not even half my bold prediction, team.
Well, I thought a tight end would catch a touchdown, and I totally forgot to mention Connor Sullivan last week. And thank you for Driscoll Cat on calling me out on that. But you know what? A tight end did not catch a touchdown, and my over-under was final score margin of 14, and I picked over, and so I was solid on that.
Did I pick under on that?
I think I don't know.
I don't remember.
There's so many of them. I think the one that pops up to my mind was Cletus thought we were going to score more than 50 points.
Oh,
like, yeah, that was his prediction. That wasn't even an over-under, which I thought was kind of weird.
Somebody had like a 58-point total, which we didn't get to. Yeah, I don't remember what everyone else's was. Man, we are just like rookie podcasters, really. We get the fan engagement and just like stop talking about it.
We're so bad at this.
Yeah, we're just really just winging it. We just drink beer and just see how things go. Most of the time it goes okay. But, players who took a snap, 2.5 was the over and under. Like 3 guys took a snap like in the first 5 minutes of the game. Like it was Johnson, I think Cassis took a snap, and then Anderson all took a snap, like right off the bat. I saw the MSU football Twitter account, like had the captains on there, and it was like it was Cassis, Johnson, Anderson, and I can't remember the other guy. But the reason I remember those 3, I was just like, oh, those 3 guys are all going to take a snap. 3 of those captains are going to take a snap, and they did. All 3 of them did.
Again, we kind of held on to Troy at the end, and I don't know why we won't put Bowman in when it's, for sure. That just seems silly to me, especially with Cat Griz coming up. So
they don't want any film on him because they're going to roll him out at Cat Griz.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be the worst.
I really want to talk about that, but let's save that for later on in the week when we roll our Cat Griz special out.
Sure, but that was a complete joke. Maybe we'll see him, but there's no way he's starting, and that's what I was alluding to right there. Roll out the true freshman.
Oh, but, no way.
Nope.
I don't think, honestly, if we were up by 40. Oh, okay, no, that's hyperbole. If we were up by, let's say, 21-7, we still seen Troy like in its fourth quarter. So it's Troy's show until it's not. So
that's true. I mean, at this point, it's funny because I've noticed the complaints really have kind of just fizzled down. And it's not because people aren't still upset about it. I think it's just because this is what it is right now. Nothing you can do about it, really. I do want to say that I think it's worth mentioning and talking about here that we just secured our first winning season in a while.
Applause button.
Yeah. No, I'm still working on the fart button. So I'll work my way up to the applause button. That's exciting. Like it's no small feat from the where everyone seemed to think the program was in 2014, which was pretty much rock bottom as far as Bobcat seasons go. Of course, we did end up having worse records, but just a complete culture reshift and change. And here we are, year 3 with an unorthodox quarterback situation, we will politely call it, and 6-4 heading into Cat Griz.
I really like the trajectory we're on, albeit not as fast as I would like to go or like to see in that matter. I really like what Choate is building. I believe he has a really good vision for the program. One thing that Driscoll Cat pointed out was he really respects his players, and you'll never hear him talk negatively about our players. And I think our players really respect him, and I think that's a huge thing. I don't know. I couldn't say that for the last regime. So very happy to be a Bobcat, and I really, really appreciate the man who is Jeff Choate.
No, you just got to love Jeff Choate as a man and as a leader of men and a cultivator of like young men going into the, for later on in their life. You just have to love what he does for that. Winning, losing aside, he's a great ambassador for the program, for the university.
Absolutely, just so that he can maybe just relinquish some of his offensive thoughts to someone else.
yes. Offense, not your strong suit, Choate. Gonna have to go ahead and let someone else really just take over it and like don't even like peek your head in the door, right? Just let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we want to talk? Sounds like we might have a new recruit.
Let's go
shift to that real quick and then wrap it up. But so I haven't read a whole lot about him. Is it Amandre Williams?
That's the name I pronounce in my head when I read it.
A UW transfer, so obviously the Choate connection there. What's his class?
So he was a senior in 2015. So he's a sophomore now.
He's a sophomore this year. True sophomore. So he'll come in as a junior then?
I believe so, because on the board I was reading about it, someone said he already have a half sack on the Grizzlies, so that means he must have played last year. And if he graduated 2015, so he would have been 2015, 2016, 17. So yeah, he must have redshirted a year.
No, I'm looking at he enrolled at UW in 2016.
Wrong again. Look at that.
So, that's awesome. Like you like it when you get a drop down transfer who is like still young. Like Spracco is only a sophomore, right?
Yeah,
because you still have a chance to like mold them. They're not as ingrained as some other culture as they might be if they were like a junior, or back when we used to get senior drop downs like Michael Jefferson and the crew. So what is he, 6'2", 240, playing outside linebacker right now? Is that what you had mentioned?
Nope, I did not mention that at all. I didn't know his height or weight. I did watch his huddle film for about 15 seconds because, after those first 15 seconds, don't really need to watch anything else after that.
I've seen everything I need to see.
He's a big guy on the high school football field, so he looked fast, but everybody does when they're going against high schoolers. So,
well, we're gonna lose some key guys on the defensive line. That's where I kind of gathered he was going to play, but I also heard he might play Stirk's spot. So, we're gonna need some interior guys here next year. But you can never have too much depth. Maybe Spracco moves back to linebacker, but I've like his natural position is DN. So we're gonna create kind of a logjam. Of course, we need a guy to replace Fa'anono, I guess. That's going to be a pretty big loss. So Marks is going to step in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Marks, and then it'd be nice to have like Spracco and maybe Amandre Williams as kind of the. I don't remember who else we have on the roster right now, but
James Williams will be our nose tackle.
Oh, he played great against. Was it Pauly?
Yeah,
I forgot to mention him on our Cal Poly episode. He was blowing through the line on a couple plays. He didn't make the play, but just getting in the backfield, being disruptive. He's just like a little bowling ball, just plowing right through there.
Yeah, he's gonna be a rising.
He's gonna be a great player. Like I was excited to see him back in action because he had been injured. So, and is he still a candidate for a red shirt? How many games has he played in?
Oh, well, That's a good question.
It's a weird thing, right? Like he could have been like, we're planning, all right, this guy's not going to redshirt because he's so good. He plays 2 games, he gets hurt, comes back, and if he only plays the last 2 games, he can still redshirt. Right? Like that's how I understand the rule. So
he's played more than 4 games. So
okay. I know he'd been
sure.
injured for a while. I just don't remember how long he'd been injured.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's good about wrap this one up. Unless you have anything else you wanna mention.
No. It's like you. It's just kind of meh. But
the necessary
the next episode on whenever we do this, maybe Wednesday or whenever, that's gonna be fun.
Yep. We're gonna be a lot more geeked up for that one. Got some good stories we can share. Maybe some fun segments. Again, we're just winging it here, so maybe we'll come up with nothing. But we're gonna have a lot to talk about regardless. We'll talk about the Griz game and just talk about what Cat Griz means to us and our experiences with Cat Griz. It's gonna be a blast. So look forward to that one. Hopefully we'll release that Thursday at the latest. No, Thursday. Thursday's what we're gonna release it on. So
right on, man.
I'm excited for that. So
now I got to go out and grab another beer. I don't know if maybe I should get another one of these Send It Pale Ales. It's delicious. Highly recommend it. Best part of tonight by far.
Well, I think that's going to have to be our poll question here, is because we need to get a good luck beer. We're both superstitious. So what beer are we going to choose that's going to drink our way to victory?
Can we put it on the poll, Guillermo?
Put on what?
Do you get that reference? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. It's a Dan Levitard reference right there.
No.
Sorry. So we need to create a Twitter poll, or maybe just go on the Bobcat Nation and recommend a beer for the Cat Griz podcast. All right. Well, I'll give you a go Cats, and we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. Go Cats.
All right, buddy. See you.